not sure it was ever out of the zeitgeist. Sherlock Holmes remains the most successful, popular, famous fictional character ever. Can't think of a time that I've been alive where that hasn't been true. And, I doubt you can go for a week on television without it being some sort of form of Sherlock Holmes. So it's never not there. You have to take your own bold approach with it. And if you do, then you can be rewarded with success or calamitous failure. That also happens.
We made a decision very early on that we would try and find an equivalent. Some of the things sort of fell very easily into place. That you think, well, he's not going to smoke a pipe. He's only 33 years old. He would just look like an idiot. So we came up with the idea of the nicotine patches, and then other things that are a bit more. But now we've done sort of 3 series. It just feels like the show. I mean, no one ever asked us about the modern day setting. Now, when we started, that was the big issue, wasn't it?
We've almost forgotten that we bothered to update it, and the critical reaction from the fans and from the newspapers in general. No one has mentioned the updating in ages. It's just Sherlock Holmes. No one ever bothers to mention when they watch a James Bond film that James Bond is from the 1950s.
We were going to do 6-hour-long episodes. The pilot wasn't really a pilot. It was episode 1. And then, largely because of the success of Wallander, which had been done in the 390s, the BBC asked us to do it like that. I mean, I remember you texted, you rang.
Yeah, I phoned them up. I said, the BBC's just called to say, would we mind doing 390s? Do you think you could do that? And you two were together again.
No, it was more specific than that. We were actually at Matt Smith's very, very first read-through for Doctor Who a few weeks before we started shooting. And you texted us and say, the BBC will green-light it if we agree to do it as 390 minutes. And Mark and I were like, well, why are you even asking us?
Yes,
Yes, we'll figure it out later. It was an idea we'd had jointly. We'd just been discussing that we should do the hat. We should do everything, really. And we just liked the idea that he absolutely hates his hat. But maybe secretly, over time, he starts to like the hat. It's a joke really ripped off from Billy Wilder.
Private Life
of Sherlock Holmes, which if you haven't seen it, if you love Sherlock, you should go and watch where we got it all from, which is The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes, an absolutely wonderful film. The experience of a show that is suddenly an enormous hit is joyous, and it is different. It feels different. Because one of our new directors, Nick Hurren, was looking at the old shows and saying, but you've got Benedict Cumberbatch in his coat walking right through Trafalgar Square. Why didn't it stop the traffic? And then he remembered, because nobody knew who he was. In those days, Benedict could wear that scarf and coat and stride through the middle of a crowd, and no one would give a damn. And if he said who he was, they'd just follow around laughing at his name.